just when you think we are gonna be working on the Getz. Sorry to disappoint you, but we're not actually. Today is a one and done episode. Let me explain. Hey, so you're in New South Wales, which is in Australia. You finally get off your L's, which means you no longer need someone to sit near you. You're still on your P's though, so your choice of cars is pretty restricted. Let's just say that because there's a power to weight ratio laws. So some cars you can't buy, and you have just finished watching season one of Rocket Power Ramen, and you really want your parents to buy you Hyundai Getz and turbo it, but their thing is not South Korean ramen. They like Japanese ramen. So what do you do? Yeah, you can't own one of these. And plus, everyone knows the Hyundai Getz are the fastest car in the world. Yeah. So what are your options? Let's go find out. Okay, so let me take you on a backstory. My sister the other day, she's like, "Oh, I think about getting rid of my car, blah blah blah." But she enjoyed this series of this Hyundai behind me. So, but the debate came up was she's like, "Yeah, but you can do $2,000 on your car and you make it turbo." She's like, "But $2,000 won't do anything to my car. In fact, wheels cost me 2.5 grand just to get like nice rims." So I did the mistake of saying, you know what, give me $2,000 and 24 hours because I know she needs the car. So and she threw the keys at me. So we got 24 hours to make the car better. There's a few things we have to touch on, but let me show you her car, and yeah, we'll go from there. Wish me luck, because I break it, I buy it. This is my sister's 2019 Honda Civic RS. And the carbon monoxide is pretty strong in the garage because the car's on. So might just go outside, get a breath of fresh air before I go to sleep permanently, eh? Now that the garage is fumed out and the cat's out of the bag, I'll quickly show you the car. It is what we got in Australia. It is known as the FK7 model. Now, these came out 1.5 litre turbo. Now, we had a variant called the RS. Now it's got a bit of, I don't know, spoilers and whatever Honda does. It's got the center tailpipe. I don't know what RS stands for. Now, my sister thinks it stands for really shit. Now, yeah, she didn't exactly give it to me. She gave it to me in sisterly order. So bottles, million things. Sorry, the car's kind of a bit dirty. I did run it underneath the hose. So so yeah, in Australia we got these. They're the equivalent in the US as the non-SI. Now this thing keeps beeping. What's wrong with this car? Oh, Japanese cars. Anyways, it's a non-SI variant. Now they are 127 kilowatts. Now the Americans got the good model. Now they got an SI, which is like I think it's like 150 kilowatts, and but we also got the Type R, and they did, but the Type R is banned for P plater, so this is sort of like a P plater episode. Now, the only thing about the Aussie versions of these cars, bow bow, yes, CVT, but this is a low mileage uh, version of it. It's got 35,000 k's, 36,000 k's, so it's pretty good in that sense. There he goes, beeps again. So yeah, let me just now go through what we have to do, and that's pretty much the car. Pretty standard, but their price is going down. So I know I'm babbling on a bit here, but if you don't want to get one of these, and you're stuck with something automatic, and something a bit newer, you're probably going to end up with one of these. If you don't want something Hyundai of the 1.6 turbo variant, because not everyone likes South Korean ramen. Some people like Japanese ramen, and Hondas do make nice cars. They just beep a lot. But yeah, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so how do you make a car better by 10%, and what are we going to target? Let me show you here. We got We got from the 10% rule, we want to make it handle hopefully 10% better, make at least 10% more power, 10% more noise and exhaust, and 10% more turbo sound. Now, the budget, I told her, get $1,800 to $2,200 ready, pending if things work, things don't work. You got to always have that. About $2,000 is where we're shooting for now. Why 10%? Firstly, the $2,000 rule. Secondly, the car can fetch 20 grand around, give or take in Aussie, because of its mileage. You can have these cheaper. So I wanted to spend 10%. And before you think, when you get an EK or an EG, let's be honest, the ones you see on the internet, they have so much money thrown on them that you're probably going to spend 30, 40K by the time you put your 2.4 litre or whatever you're doing and your turbo and everything, because the one you're going to get is probably going to be, let's be honest, shit. It's going to be a 1.5 litre single cam, or take 5 days to get to 100. So some people actually like cars that the aircon works. Just saying. So yeah, let's do that. And time is running out very quickly. So let's get started. I'll show you the first mod. Let's get straight into it. Well, I understand Hondas are all about the environment, but what is this? What is this? Why is there leaves? Well, I'll fix that up. There's nothing a garden blower can't fix. But another thing we have to fix up is the car's identity. It's a turbo, very quiet. All these cars, they don't make noises because they sell them to everyone. Now, just a quick thing, what I like about these Honda engines, and they got it over the 1.6 that comes out in the Velocita, the N-Line, in the Hyundais, and that the 1.6 turbo is turbos at the front. Now, for future upgrades, future replacements, all that stuff, everything's pretty easy to get to. And this is what Japanese sometimes do right. Sometimes they make it hard, sometimes they make it easy. In this case, I think it's easy. People in the US have gotten these up to 300 horsepower, but they still heavily underrated in Australia because I think of the CVT. But I'm sure because they're using this engine quite a bit, they'll eventually come out in manual, and it could be one of those cars that it's not loved now, but in the future, when the price really drops, people will get behind them. And I'll show you one other reason why. Now, the car is quiet. She wants turbo noises. She wants either a flutter or a so I'll show you. See this? This silver thing down there? Yep. Now, that is the factory diverter valve, or blower valve, if you want to call it that. It plumbs it pretty much into the intake so you can't hear shit. Now, to fix that up, for $12.39 from AliExpress, you get one of these plates. In other words, it just diverts the sound outside, and that'll be our first mod. $12.39. The car might have some character. This thing might not fit. The car might blow up. I might have to buy a Civic RS. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with how to put one of these on completely because you can find it online, but I'll just quickly run through it just in case someone's like, how's this go on? Pretty much, if you look in here, see those, there's actually 3 bolts and pretty much 1 hose. All this does is this comes off. This is wedged between it on the right side. One side's got a gasket, the other side, I think the gasket's on that factory blower valve. And you install these, and these are obviously longer threaded Allen bolts or nuts or whatever you call it, and it's pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to do that now, and hopefully it works. Hopefully we bought the right part, because you can get these for as low as like maybe $8, but you just got to get them on special. In our case, it was a few bucks more, but it wasn't enough to break the budget. Ta-da! So for those playing at home, this is the factory diverter valve. It's got the spring and all. That's the gasket from the factory. So this gasketed part, this goes onto the car, and that goes onto here. And this thing, you'll see, it's got holes all the way around it. That's pretty much where the noise comes out of. And yeah, you just basically put that on there, and you use the extended bolts, Allen screws, whatever you call them, and yeah, it should go in there, and hopefully it makes noises and shouldn't have a check engine light. Now, these cars are pretty sensitive, so any mods you do one thing at a time. Turn on check engine light, see what it is. Should be all right. Fingers crossed. And just like that, it's on. I just got to connect the vacuum line. The internet kind of lies, eh? They made it look like it's the easiest thing. You need small hands, and if you drop anything, it is hello, it is gone somewhere down there. And because Honda like to cover everything underneath the car, I'm gonna have to get underneath there. But I am gonna service the car, so I'll find what I dropped. It's not needed, but that's good. But if I did need it, then I'm stuffed. But yeah, I'm gonna connect the vacuum line. Hopefully it works. No leaks. Okay, no abnormal leaks, no more truth, doesn't make noises. I'll set up the camera and give it a few revs. Unfortunately, this is an electric throttle from what I can see, yep. So I'm going to have to be in there, put the camera here, hopefully we hear some noises. Okay, so it's safe to say that does work. It's very faint at the end of a rev, but we're not revving it up and we're not boosting it up because when a car drives, it obviously builds boost. Revving up to 3,000 revs, it's not hitting boost, but you can just hear the at the end. So okay, we'll hear how that goes later on when we go for a drive. Now let's get to the next mod.
Oh, look at this. Nice stock airbox. Fully legal.
And that's what we don't want. Now, my sister's request, yes, she does know about cars because that's what happens when you have two sisters and you have three older brothers and they're all hoods. So, the car's too quiet, want more noises, and a pod filter because we used to put pod filters on everything before I learned what a cold air intake is. So we did look online. There is a Mishimoto for this one. That's the brand. That's how you pronounce it. It's around $650. But you know what I do. It's either AliExpress or eBay. So we'll go get a knockoff, and it's in here. It's probably a box of shit. I still have not unraveled this. I don't know what is in here. Now it cost us $153.40. Now at worst, we will change the air filter over. I'm hoping. You can get a K&N, I think it's like $100. It's like a specific size, but I've already looked at the dimensions online. But let's hope it fits in here because so far I've noticed that it is pretty easy to get to stuff, except the part I don't have little Japanesey hands. And the blower valve was a bit of an issue, but it's done. So now let's get to the next step and let's unbox either an air intake or literally a box of shit, which I will have to pay for then because I clearly chose it and she wanted to get the $600 one. Let's go. So we got ourselves an intake, not this nice. It looks like an intake. It's for something. It might be for this car. I hope so. We got ourselves a heat shield. I think it does something like that or something. Airflow meter adapter or whatever it is you call it. This is made out of steel or aluminium, which is good. It looks plastic. Look at those questionable welds, but it's just an intake and it is welded, so that's fine. Some rubber clamps, something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna start pulling it apart. A part of me wants to go online and maybe download the Mishimoto instructions because I know they've ripped it off. But from what I can see, I think it's just a matter of taking that off, that goes onto that pipe. This somehow has to come off. This is the part I just need to know how to fully take this off. There'll be a few nuts and bolts. And I think that's pretty much it. And then you should be able to see the pod filter. The pod filter looks alright. It looks like the SAS one I bought. So the quality does not look bad at all, I guess. And I think that's a 70mm neck or something. So yeah, let's just start pulling the car apart. Yeah, let's try not to break anything, eh? Why do I do this to myself? For those that don't know, these cars are still VTEC. And being turbo, unfortunately, the one thing you're missing from your air intake is that, that kind of VTEC yell sound. But still VTEC. Just saying. Remember the old days with the clips? Go back to that, please. You POS. And that's how you take the intake out. So the airbox is on. You have in cold air intake. I haven't put the lid on it yet. Now, I'll let you see a few things you may have picked up on the video. Now, they do give you this heat, whatever you want to call it, shield, wrap, rubber to go around. But at the same time, you push the air filter just enough. It sort of does a nice tight seal. Still got to put a lid on this. Seemed alright. The fitment's pretty good. They don't give you. Let me show you here. There's a screw down here. Wait, let me just see if I can show you the camera. See that? I don't know if you can see that. See that gold one right there? Now, they actually don't give you that. Now, once I worked out what the bracket was, you can get away with it, but this has stopped that shaking. So, I don't know what thread that was. To be honest, I'd like to tell you. It's either an M8, 1.2, 1.25, something like that. Do try it yourself. Just haven't turned it on. I'm going to put the lid on it though, because I do want to finish it. We are burning through a lot of time, so I've got to quickly wrap this part up and then we'll get to the next step. But yeah, it's on. And for something that's $160, well, the boiler still has to close. Let's just look at that. But the point of this is air comes through here, I think. I don't know, some science about whatever, as long as it makes noises. And at least it's at the front of the engine. Seen some cars where they put the pod filter at the back. Cough, cough, MX-5s. Yeah, so, yeah, let's put that lid and keep going. And just like that, the car that had all the leaves now has what it looks like a birdhouse. So it goes with the whole Honda low emissions, organic, whatever you want to call it, vegan, whatever they were going for. But it's done. Let's turn on the car. I'm curious to see, fingers crossed, no check engine lights, but yeah, we got to quickly get this going. So yeah, we'll turn it on and then we got a few more things to do. No check engine lights so far. Now that the intake's done, it's probably one of those things that when you drive, you hear it. Just so when the engine's under load. Now the next thing on there is exhaust. I'm actually dreading this one as much as I'm Yeah, it's probably the top two things I dread at the moment because it wouldn't be the first one I've done. It's just that budget and it's on my car, so I got to do this right. So let's look at our options. I'll clean up this mess and then we'll go back to the table of misery or whatever you want to call it because it seems to always give me a headache or whatever I have on there. But let's go. Oh, the good old exhaust. Some might even call it character for the car. Now, in this case, I'm gonna get up here. Um, Exhaust for these cars aren't cheap because uh, you got a front pipe that has the catalytic converter. You can get rid of the cat now, but then even in the front pipe, you're looking at an Nvidia like a section, then from the dump, then an exhaust. Let me just say that just the front half of this is around 1,500 here in Australia dollars. So the exhaust, if you really wanted a system, you're looking at like 3.5 grand plus. But everyone knows this is like a $2,000 challenge. I ain't putting 3.5 grand. What I am gonna put is I call this character at a flick of a button. It's a cutout valve. I don't know if you remember. I still have one of these pending for that, but going back to this is 2 inch. Now, apparently, the exhaust on this car is actually 2 inch. I have measured it, and fingers crossed, the internet records that. This is a pretty sharp T, only because there's not a lot of clearance underneath there. These are stainless steel, band clamps, and some pipe. Now, whether we do a resonator delete or not will depend on where we can mount this. How much did all this setup cost? 164.87. Valve was pretty much 57, 1979 from T. You know, these bends, both of them together was 858. Those clamps were 40.98 in total, so a bit under $10. They were from eBay. These were from AliExpress, and this one was from eBay from Australia. That was 38.53 for this pipe. Now, I don't know if you can see outside. The rain's coming, but that doesn't change my deadline, which is tomorrow, Arvo. So I really need to get in here and quickly do it because I can't weld in the rain. Plus, there's things I have outside. I don't want them to be in the rain. So let's get right into it. Let's jack up the car and see what we're up against because I've not gone underneath there since I've ordered these. So we'll jack up the car, but as well, in the meantime, let's give this a test. Make sure it works on the bench because there's no point in installing all this and just like, So yeah, let's go for it. Open, closed, open, closed. Okay, we're underneath the car. Hello. Okay, let me try to keep the camera straight. That's the front. Honda like to put a lot of coverings. That's nice. That's the resonator. And look what goes to the back. Now, we have two options. We either fit the cutout valve here and maybe do a resonator delete. We'll just chop that off, and that's where we use those bands on that straight piece of pipe. Or if we can do really well, fit it here, which is right here. Now, I'm a bit worried that it might not fit, but I will come underneath and I'll measure it. We can sneak it in here. That'll be the ultimate means. We don't have to touch the resonator, and the car can proper remain sleeper mode when you do not want the noise, I guess. And if it's pre-resonator, it is going to be louder. So just in case we don't delete the resonator, but I can't see why not. It's literally just a straight piece of pipe that has to fit there and just put the bands. But I'm going to go get the stuff and see if I can fit it, eh? Okay, so I've come to the conclusion I might just do a muffler delete because there is actually room under here, like a room to basically mount the valve. Now, I can right angle the valve because I do have parts over there, but I'm going to probably just do that for now. And then I'm going to make sure if this is dead straight, we'll do a resonator delete. But let's first get the cutout valve on there because it's all about noise first. And then, like I said, you get rid of the resonator, it's going to be a lot louder and a lot meaner when it is open. But it's one thing at a time, just in case it's not dead straight, that pipe, and I can't put those band clamps, then it needs a professional to weld the pipe in. Okay, so we have tested this. This will probably be how it will look. It'll pretty much go like that. I have to extend this because obviously the clamp needs at least like 40% of the pipe in there, because so then one of these can actually tighten on it. So I do have to extend the pipe here. We will cut a piece of that. I have to go out there. It looks like it's gonna rain any minute now, and that is gonna chew up a few of my hours. So if it does rain, I'm in deep trouble. So let's go out there. I'll quickly weld it. And if I wire it tonight, maybe tonight. I got something to do this Arvo, and yeah, it is stainless steel, so I just gotta be easy on the welder. Don't go too hot or too strong or whatever that number is. Maybe setting one. Okay, I'm talking. Let's get straight into it. And there was a delay where I actually ran out of MIG wire for the welder, so I had to actually go and buy some. Now, I'll do my best for today. If not, it is going to rain. I am probably going to need some help. Let me just throw that in the bin. I'm going to try my best. Try to con my brother into it because he knows a thing or two. He is a mechanic, ex-mechanic. So just for speed, I guess, because of the deadline we have. But regardless, it's been okay. It's been a bit of progress. And anything I do at night, I'll just pull out the camera. We just got to beat the rain. And yeah, until tomorrow, look at me. I'm sniffling. Oh no, I must be getting sick. This car's making me sick. Maybe I should keep these Hondas away from me. So yeah, that's okay for day one, I guess. If we can still sneak in some time, we'll go for it, eh? Okay, with the smallest smidge of time left, I have measured that the cutout. It is the whole system. I need to cut out 200 mils. Even give or take, I'm better off being a bit bigger because those clamps, they make up for any gap. So I'm gonna go and leave the car. Look at that bodgy jacking up. And but there is a stand underneath that. I'm gonna mark up 200 mil, so like that I can get ahead and see where the 200 mil it will look like. I'm hoping it looks like the way it was before we welded it, but I'm quietly confident, but just losing way too much light. So I might get a few of my torches and just put them there, and yeah, we'll go from there. And I've got my saber saw from work. Thank you, work. Ready. I've got my own. It's only electric one, but batteries a bit easier. So yeah, cool. Let's go mark up some exhaust and cut here. Cut there. Ah, screw you, pal. Get out of my way. And that's a straight cut pipe. Now you owe me money. Welcome to country. Pretty much you just line it up. And this should slide on like that. Okay. The only thing is you want to do is half and half. So just sort of, one thing I forgot to say is get a texter, mark your half and half mark. So then at least you know one good knot on one side, one good knot on the other. And yeah. Sounds like an old school action movie. Get to the chopper. I'll make my adjustments. I'll show you what it looks like. And hopefully I minimize talking the shit, but it is in a good space and I'm kind of happy. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay. So with a bit of stuffing around, that shouldn't hit. That shouldn't hit. That's tight as, like nothing ever changed. Now, I'm not going to let you hear it because I haven't even turned it on myself. I will paint this black, not the whole thing. I don't have silver. Whatever Honda cut their exhaust with, it's actually pretty good. It actually it stays shiny. So what I'll do is I'll coat this with matte black. That is still not the lowest point of the car, and I think we're gonna have a happy customer. As for this little tiny torn heat shield, what my sister doesn't know will not kill her. But at the same time, I would have had to tear it anyways because it turns out the plug's not going to make it there. But yeah, no refunds. Just saying.